All right, so let's dive into this this thing that's been kind of puzzling fans and players alike. How do you prepare to face a bowler as unique and skillful as Jasprit Bumrah?
Yeah.
We got this ESPN Cricinfo article here.
Yeah.
And it really breaks down Australia's struggles against him in their recent test match.
Right.
And I have to say, it's a real head scratcher.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
What's fascinating is it's not just surviving Bumrah's deliveries.
Right.
It's about finding a way to score against him, to put the pressure back on him.
Oh, yeah.
It's a real tactical puzzle.
That's exactly what intrigued me about this.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's trying to solve this riddle wrapped in a mystery inside an incredibly fast delivery.
Yeah.
So for you listening, let's try to unpack this Bumrah conundrum together.
Okay.
This article paints a pretty vivid picture of just how dominant he's been.
Yeah.
It talks about tattooed red cherries on pads and outside edges, and how he just scythed through Australia's top order.
Right.
What makes him such a tough opponent?
Well, it's a combination of things.
Okay.
Most bowlers specialize, right? They're either looking to hit the stumps for an LBW,
Right.
or aiming for the edges of the bat to get a catch. Bumrah can do both.
Okay.
And he can do it with swing, which makes him a double threat.
So he's keeping the batsman guessing every single delivery.
Right.
No wonder they're having a hard time.
Exactly.
You know, it reminds me a bit of Adam Gilchrist. And his troubles against Andrew Flintoff back in the day.
Yeah.
Flintoff's angle and movement were also really tough to handle.
Yeah, that's an interesting comparison.
Yeah.
Back then, Gilchrist's coach actually used a bowling machine to try and replicate Flintoff's deliveries.
Oh, wow.
It was considered pretty cutting edge at the time.
A bowling machine, like something you'd find at an arcade.
Not exactly.
Okay.
These are specialized machines designed to mimic a bowler's style.
Oh.
But the thing is...
Modern batters actually see those as outdated.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
They find the repetition and predictability can be detrimental.
So what's the modern solution then? How are they prepping for someone like Bumrah if not with a bowling machine?
Well, these days, coaches use sidearm throwers to try to replicate those unique deliveries. It allows for more variation.
Right.
Keeps the batsman on their toes.
Yes, so it's more dynamic.
Yes.
But can they really replicate someone like Bumrah? I mean, his release, his movement, it's almost like trying to copy a magician's sleight of hand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Isn't there just something inherently unique about him?
That's at the heart of this Bumrah problem.
Okay.
His action is so unusual that it's almost impossible to duplicate.
Yeah.
Even professional batters have said. It's incredibly tough to tell his in-swinger from his outswinger.
Yeah.
Because the way he holds the ball, his seam presentation is so consistent.
But so you can't really get a read on it. It's very difficult.
Okay, I'm starting to get a sense of why Australia is finding this so challenging.
Right.
But let's look at this from a broader perspective.
Okay.
How do traditional Australian batting tactics fare against someone like Bumrah? I mean, they've got their own style, right?
Right. Think about Australian pitches and bowlers.
Okay.
They typically favor those outside edge dismissals. This conditions Australian batters to focus on leaving deliveries on length, forcing bowlers to bowl fuller, and reducing lateral movement.
Okay.
It's a strategy that's worked well for them traditionally.
So they're used to a certain type of game, but against Bumrah...
Against Bumrah, it creates this real dilemma.
Okay.
See, he can hit the stumps from a good length,
Right.
and he can still generate swing.
So both are dangerous.
So leaving the ball becomes risky.
Right.
But so does trying to play it.
It's a catch-22.
It is a catch-22.
They're damned if they do and damned if they don't.
Exactly.
So how do you even begin to solve this problem? You can't just tell a batter to completely change their style, right?
You can't just tell them to change their style.
Right.
And simply surviving against Bumrah isn't enough.
Right.
The Australian coach Andrew McDonald said it best.
Okay.
The art of putting pressure back onto him and knowing where you're going to score off him, that's our definition of method.
So it's not just about defense.
Right.
It's about finding a way to go on the offensive.
Exactly.
You have to find ways to score runs, disrupt his rhythm. But how do you even train for something like this? I mean, are they bringing in contortionists to mimic his bowling action? It's got to be something crazy, right?
It's not quite that dramatic.
Okay.
But we did talk about those sidearm throwers.
Right.
Coaches are using.
But isn't there a limit to how effective that can be?
Absolutely, there are some inherent challenges there.
Like what?
Even with sidearm throwers, it's really difficult to match Bumrah's height and release point.
Which means the trajectory and bounce are different from what the batters will face in a real match.
So it's kind of like practicing archery with a slingshot. It gives you a general idea.
Yeah.
But it's not the real deal.
It's not the real deal.
And facing other Australian bowlers in the nets, that can't really compare either, can it?
You're right. There was one international player quoted in the article, and he compared Bumrah's skill set to J.H. Richardson, an Australian bowler.
Right.
But even he admitted there are huge differences between the two.
So if practice can only do so much, how much of facing Bumrah comes down to instinct and making decisions in the heat of the moment?
That's a really crucial point.
Yeah.
No matter how innovative the practice is, it can only prepare you so much.
Right.
Facing Bumrah in a real match is a completely different beast.
Yeah.
It requires mental fortitude, adaptability, and that element of instinct that separates good players from great ones. So it's not just a physical battle. It's a mental one.
Absolutely.
Bumrah isn't just bowling deliveries. He's playing mind games.
He is.
What a fascinating challenge.
Yeah.
And for the Australian batsmen, the puzzle remains unsolved.
At least for now.
At least for now. But don't worry. We're not leaving you hanging.
Okay.
After a quick word from our sponsors, we'll be back to delve deeper into the strategies they might use to conquer this Bumrah conundrum.
Sounds good.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, it's amazing how one bowler can force a whole team to rethink their strategies.
It really highlights how cricket
Right.
is as much a mental game as it is about technique.
Absolutely. And in Bumrah's case, that mental preparation is about deciphering a bowler who breaks the mold.
Okay, so let's get strategic. What can the Australian batsmen actually do to overcome this Bumrah problem?
Yeah.
They can't just cross their fingers and hope for the best, can they?
You're right. Hope is not a strategy at this level.
Yeah.
The article suggests a few key things.
Okay.
First, studying Bumrah's past performances is crucial.
So like watching game tapes.
Yeah.
Trying to get inside his head, figure out his patterns.
Exactly. By analyzing his previous matches, they can try to anticipate his strategies.
Right.
See if they can spot his favorite deliveries. Or even those subtle cues that might give away his next move.
It's like cracking a code.
Yeah.
Looking for those little tells that betray his plan.
A bit like that. And along with studying him, they need to identify those potential scoring opportunities. Every bowler has weaknesses.
Right.
Even Bumrah.
So it's not just about defense. It's about finding a way to put pressure back on him.
Exactly.
Maybe disrupt his rhythm.
That might mean taking calculated risks, targeting specific areas of the field where he's less effective, and capitalizing on any loose deliveries.
So it's a balance between defense and attack. You can't just be on the back foot the whole time. You've got to show him you're not afraid to take him on.
Precisely, but perhaps the most important thing, and this is where the mental game really comes in, is maintaining that clear, confident mindset under pressure.
That's easier said than done.
Yeah.
When you've got this bowling phenomenon charging at you at what feels like 1,000,000 miles an hour.
I can only imagine, but the article stresses how important it is for the batsmen to trust their skills, stick to their game plan, and not let Bumrah's reputation psych them out.
It's like that saying, play the ball, not the man.
Exactly. And this is where the limitations of practice become really clear.
Okay.
You can simulate deliveries all day long.
Right.
But nothing can truly replicate the pressure of facing Bumrah in a real match.
It's about rising to the occasion.
Yes.
Trusting your instincts and making those split-second decisions that can change the game.
That's the essence of it.
It's something that can't be taught. It comes from experience. From confidence and from believing in your ability.
So it's preparation adaptability and that X factor that separates the good from the great.
And when it comes to facing Jasprit Bumrah, that X factor might be the key to solving the puzzle.
You know, this whole discussion has really got me thinking. It's not just about cricket.
Right.
These ideas apply to so many other areas of life, too.
I completely agree, whether it's facing a tough opponent, a challenging negotiation, or even a personal obstacle.
Right.
The ability to prepare, adapt, and stay clear-headed is crucial.
It's about embracing the challenge,
Yeah.
learning from your experiences, and trusting yourself to make the right call in the moment.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's about acknowledging that there are some things you just can't fully prepare for.
Right.
You've just got to face them head on and trust your instincts. Yeah, it really is about having that mental agility, being able to adjust your approach as you go.
And in a game like cricket,
right,
where every single delivery brings a new challenge, that adaptability is key.
It's remarkable, isn't it, how one player like Bumrah can make a whole team rethink their strategies and question their assumptions about the game.
It speaks to the beauty of sports, There's always room for someone to come along and challenge the status quo.
Yeah.
Someone who can turn the game on its head.
And for the Australians, this Bumrah problem is a fantastic opportunity for growth. It's a chance to learn, evolve, and push their boundaries as batsmen.
I love that perspective.
Yeah.
It's not just about overcoming a challenge. It's about using it as a catalyst to become even better.
Exactly. And who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe in trying to solve this Bumrah problem, they'll discover new techniques, new approaches that make them even stronger as a team.
Now, that would be a fascinating development.
It would.
It just goes to show that sometimes the biggest obstacles can lead to the greatest breakthroughs.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. And on that note, I think we've explored quite a bit today.
I think so, too.
We've gone from the technical intricacies of Bumrah's bowling action to the mental toughness it takes to face him.
Absolutely.
A real deep dive into this cricketing puzzle.
A real deep dive.
We've looked at the challenges, the possible strategies, and why adaptability is so crucial in a sport that's always evolving.
It is.
So for everyone listening, as you go about your day, we'll leave you with this thought.
Okay.
Think about the Bumrahs in your own life. The challenges that seem impossible.
Yeah.
The opponents that make you question your abilities.
Right. Those really tough situations.
How can you apply what we've talked about today to those situations? Can you study your opponent?
Yeah.
Find their weaknesses and maintain that all-important mental edge.
It's crucial.
And maybe most importantly, how can you turn these challenges into opportunities for growth?
Yeah.
To push your own limits and discover strengths you didn't even know you had.
Food for thought, indeed.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and never be afraid to face your own Bumrah problem head on, head on.